All right, guys, welcome back to the channel, man. Welcome back to California Recovery. This is your host, Wade Stevens, and we're here to do it today before work. Sorry, it's a little hot right now. But I think today, man, let's talk about step 3. So step 3 starts on page 58, how it works. It goes to page 63. You see the third step prayer on the page 63. And then a little bit after that is still step 3 until it says next we launch out on a course of vigorous action. And then it gets into step 4. But really some key concepts, this will probably be a multi-part video, man. But in step 3, man, we're going to really look at self-will and playing God. We're going to have to see and realize, and there's some practices we do in there in our sponsorship lineage, how self-will and playing God fails me. It doesn't work. So we're looking at this idea of, made a decision to turn our will and our life over to the care of God as we understood him. That's a short form of the third step. But to be willing, that first step is going to really drive me. You're going to see how that first step is the foundation because it's going to drive... it's going to be the catalyst for me, a piece of it to turn my will and my life over to the care of God because I'm beyond human aid. But in step 3, another catalyst that we're going to look at is the failure of living my life on self-will or playing God in my life and everybody else's life. And we're looking at the actor and we're looking at the director, right? The director who wants to arrange the ballet and the scenery and the lighting, and it talks about that in there, that I want to be God, I want to be the director. Now, it's also funny in the third step, decisions that we're going to see. We'll talk about that in a second. But I need to see the failure of my life running on self-will or playing God. They mean the same thing. Self-will, playing God, same stuff. But I got to see the failure of that before I'm going to be willing to turn my will and my life over to the care of God as I understand him. So really what we do, it says the first requirement. The first requirement to what? The first requirement to turn my will and my life over to the care of God is to be convinced that any life run on self-will or playing God cannot be a success. Now, that's what the book says. The first requirement is that I be convinced that any life run on self-will could hardly be a success. So we do an exercise with that. And what we do, and what I tell people that I sponsor, just like my sponsor told me, is have God, your conception that you developed in step 2, have your higher power direct you to 3 people and ask them, how did they see you running your life on self-will or playing God? And what did they see happening to you as a result of that, of living like that? Another way to word it, if God directs you to somebody that you know, that like your parents, and they don't know anything about recovery or this idea of self-will, explain to them, what do you see happening to me if I never got a sponsor, worked the steps, went to an AA meeting? What did you see? What would you see happening to me as a direct result of continuing down the path I was going with drinking and getting loaded, can't stop, all that stuff? What do you see happening to me? Because if I run my life on self-will, even in AA, I got another drink or a hit waiting for me. If I don't do this work in AA and I don't work the steps, and I don't sponsor others, I'm not engaged in the circle and triangle, I'm just going to some meetings. If I'm self-willing my own program and not doing the program of Alcoholics Anonymous, you can guarantee, it's guaranteed to me in step 1 that the mental obsession will return and I'll be back to drinking and getting loaded in a place of lack of power one more time, experiencing step 1 loaded. So another way to ask that question is, what do you see happening to me as a direct result of not doing AA? That's the same thing as self-will or playing God, right? I could do the job myself. And what do they see happen? And I got some interesting responses. My mom says, Wade, I see you getting killed. I see you killing somebody else because I'm, aggressive and violent, whatever, when I'm drinking and getting loaded. I see somebody killing you. I see you, ending up in jail, in prison, dead. All this stuff, I went to my friend Jacqueline, who I was sponsoring, my best female friend. We've shared inventory stuff and secrets together. And really when we're looking at this, when I went to her with this, because God directed me to her because she knows me real well, she says, I see you womanizing again, Wade. I see you back in the streets, and I see you back, living the hopeless life, basically, that we live. If I run my life on self-will, if I run this program, quote unquote, my program in AA on self-will, which is what my program looks like, not the program of Alcoholics Anonymous, my program, I get the same responses. See you in jail, see you in prison for the rest of your life, dead, killing somebody else, loaded, living the hopeless life that I live as an addict or alcoholic. And so one more time, I get it's different when we approach this being convinced that any life run on self-will could hardly be a success. Now, if we did some prayer for review with that and just sat with it, I mean, it would do us a lot of good, but it's going to do us. That's why we do that exercise with it of God directing you to 3 people. Because when I hear it from people who know me, who love me, who care about me, and they're telling me roughly the same picture, once again, I'm more convinced that my life run on self-will could hardly be a success. Without AA, without a spiritual connection with God, me playing God, I see you dead, jail, prison, womanizing, living the hopeless life, lack of power, dying slowly, and so really that's the deal. And so we do that exercise. After we're done with that exercise, we, ask them, are you now convinced that any life run on your own will not work? Whether it's business, finances, school, education, my job, my with my spouse, with my family, with any area of my life, with my sponsees, with going doing a speaking engagement. I don't need prayer today. I don't need to get tapped in with God. I don't need to do these practices before I go in and get centered to pray, to speak. Any life I run on self-will could hardly be a success. And so am I convinced of that? Because why would I make a decision to turn my will and my life over to the care of God as I understand him if I believe in my heart of hearts that I could do a better job playing God? What would be the catalyst or the desire to turn my will and my life over to the care of God if I think I'm doing a hell of a job playing God myself? I'm not going to do that. So that's why it says to begin or to start, we write in our books, to start turning it over. The first requirement to that is I got to be convinced that my life playing God or running on self-will doesn't work. And I'm going to see that with those people that are telling me and giving me that honest feedback of what they see happen to me as a direct result of trying to play God or run the show. So really, we're going to look at a lot of self-will. We're going to look at ways that I try to play God. Am I kind? The book talks about in step 3. Am I kind? Am I nice? Am I considerate? Even modest and self-sacrificing, right? I'm in a relationship with a woman, whatever. Am I kind? Am I nice? Am I considerate to get my way? For her, him, whatever the case may be, whether it's family, my friends, sponsees, girlfriend, this, that. Am I kind? Am I nice? Am I considerate? Am I even modest and self-sacrificing? But if that doesn't work and I don't get what I want from this person, am I also mean? Am I egotistical? Am I all these things? Do I go that way to try to get my way and play God, to try to control the person, the situation, to try to give me what I think I want or need? So it's going to tell me different toolkits and ways that I play God. Trying to be the director, trying to be the actor, trying to run the show, trying to be God himself. Not only in my life and everybody else's life. No wonder why I'm a producer of confusion rather than harmony. Because I'm trying to run the show, play God, and I try these different means or tactics to get my way. And really, so we're looking at that. So there's also in step 3 some third step decisions. That God is going to be the principal. And a principal is an entity or something that empowers another to work on their behalf. So it says, is God going to be my principal, whatever your conception of God is? And that's a third step decision. Am I willing to let God be my principal or empower me in step 3 on to work on his behalf? Not on my behalf, on his behalf, whatever the case may be, to be an agent for him. So it says, am I willing to let God basically be the principal? I'm his agent. An agent works on someone else's behalf. So God's going to be my principal. He's going to empower me to be his agent to go out in the world and work for him for the greater good. Taking others to the steps, speaking at treatment facilities, speaking at low bottom treatment facilities, county hospitals, Cedar House in Bloomington. I mean, we doing his work, sacrificing time and hours and date time or whatever else to go and be his agent. And I do that. And we do that in our sponsorship lineage. It's that important. It's life or death. We're there. So another third step decision is that God's going to be my father and I'm going to be his child. Am I okay with that? Now, the Father, and we write in our books, the originator, the creator, right, provides all needs for his child. Am I okay with that conception? Of course I am. I would love God to provide everything that I need and be my father, and I'll be his child, right? I'm down with that conception. That's another third step decision. So really, it talks about these decisions, and we ask those questions. Are you willing for God to be your principal? No longer you're going to be running your own life, brother or sister. It's not going to happen. It doesn't work. You're going to end up dead, loaded, drunk, living the hopeless life. Are you willing for God to empower you from this point on in the third step? Not only in AA, but in every area of your life. Ready for God to give you some power? Are you ready to be his agent to work on his behalf? Are you willing to receive the power that God's going to give you to work on his behalf? Not on your behalf, but on God's behalf, to do whatever it takes to put out this good into the world. Sponsorship, speaking, treatment facilities, donating my time, YouTube channels. I mean, tithing my knowledge, my experience, stuff that I've been taught to try to help out all my brothers and sisters in AA. Get dead center and get clear on some things. So am I willing to accept those third step decisions? And like I said, guys, this is going to be a multi-part video. There's so much in step 3. Talking about the self-will run riot, all that stuff, we'll get into that. But in closing, after it talks about those third step decisions on the bottom of the page, it says, after taking such a position, what position? That God's going to be my father. I'm going to be his child. He's going to provide what I need. He's going to be the principal. He's going to empower me to work on his behalf. I'm going to be his agent. All the third step decisions, after taking and asking myself, am I willing to believe in that or to do that? After taking that position, that God's going to be everything in my life, it talks about the third step promises. Remarkable things fall. God being all powerful provides what I need. If I kept close to him and performed his work well, it starts listing from that point on the third step promises. After we take a position that God's going to be basically everything in my life, my principal is going to empower me to work for him. I'm going to be his agent. I'm going to be his child. He's going to be my father. After taking that position, remarkable things followed. And then it lists the third step decisions. Being all powerful, it goes on and on. Some great promises in step 3. So I just want to tap in, do a little video for today. This is going to be a multi-part. The next video I do, I'm going to continue with step 3. There's so much in there that I want to touch on. There's so much important information. I guess the last part that I'll talk about in step 3 is it talks about the idea of a turning point. It talks about this idea that we're at this turning point. Now, what is a turning point? I didn't know. So when my sponsor told me, he said, wait, a turning point is like you go down a road and it dead ends. You could either go right or you can go left, but you can't go straight any further, right? Can't go straight any further, basically living my life on self-will. This is the end. It's either I'm going to go right or I'm going to go left. These are the two options. So we draw an arrow going to the right from where it says turning point, and we say turn to God. That's one way I could turn. And then we draw another arrow where it says the turning point going to the left, turn back to dope and alcohol. Because it says we stand at the turning point. We stand there. So really the idea is at this third step, I'm standing at this turning point. I'm either going to turn right. I can't go straight any further. I'm either going to go one of two ways. I'm going to go through and trust God and move through the rest of the 12 steps, do my 4th step, do an honest 5th step, talk about those secrets, do my resentment, fear, and sex conduct inventory, make all my conscious amends, do morning practices in 10 and 11, follow those practices throughout the day, working with step 12, helping others, taking others through the steps, carrying the message to them. That is how I turn to God, and I will get recovered and have my spiritual awakening, and my life's going to be amazing, and I'm going to turn to God. That's how I know my third step decision is going to be packed, because the third step decision is just that. It's just a decision. But how I know that my decision, I kept my promise in that third step decision, is that I went through the rest of the steps and finished them. That's the deal, and continue to rework the steps. That keeps and holds my third step decision in place. So really ask yourself, if you're at that turning point in that third step, you're there at that line, draw that arrow. Which way are you going to go? Are you going to continue to stand at the third step and not write your fourth step? If you do that, you're going to turn left, and the mental obsession is going to hit you again. You're going to turn back to dope and alcohol over and over again. Or are you going to turn right? And are you going to turn to God and move through and write that fourth step? Write that resentment inventory, fear and sex content inventory. Get honest with those secrets that are killing you in that fifth step with your sponsor, with multiple people. We share with multiple people because we don't want to put our sponsor like he's God or she's God, and then he or she's the only person I could share it with. Am I going to make all my conscious amends? Am I going to do these morning practices in step 10, 11, and throughout the day? Am I going to sacrifice and help others? Sacrifice my time when I could be going on a date or doing this? And a lot of times I don't have the time. It's about helping others. So this is what I do. So really, we'll close with that idea. Once you get to the turning point in step 3, that line, ask yourself, which way am I going to turn? If I stand at the turning point and I never do my 4th step, or I drag it out for a very long time, I'm going to turn back to dope and alcohol. That mental obsession of drink and use will come back because I have not had my spiritual awakening yet, and I have not had my I have not gotten recovered yet, right? I'm still going to be spiritually blocked. And so really, or am I going to turn to God, have a great life and get spiritually well and help others and move through 4 through 12? That's the turning point. There's no more I can go forward. At this point in the 3rd step, there's only one of 2 ways I can go forward and have a beautiful life through this work, or I'm going to stand and stand and stand at that 3rd step, at that turning point, and the mental obsession is going to pick me off, and I'll be back doing dope and alcohol again, living the hopeless life that we live. So that's a very important topic. We'll do a multi-part series on step 3. There's so much good stuff in there, and I love you guys. Have a wonderful day, and please like, comment, share, subscribe, get it out there, man. Just trying to put out that positive content, trying to get all of us on dead center, and just give back what's been so freely given to me. Love you guys. Thank you.